From its inception, the NBC TV series was a pretty cool idea. Making the La Brea Tar Pits out to be some time-traveling warp hole has all the elements to catch an audience through its synopsis only. But it's true that the show did suffer a little in the start, as it tried to find its footing properly. Thankfully, in the last few episodes, La Brea improved dramatically, enough to get picked up for another season. Stick with us to see how they did it. First, comparing La Brea and Debris. If there's one thing most fans of the two shows have been wondering, it's why Debris got canceled, but La Brea managed to get picked up for a second season, and it's a legit concern. Both shows are on NBC, Sci-fi with really intriguing worlds, and a compelling cast. So what did Debris get wrong? Well, the first thing that Debris got wrong was that it started off really slowly. Yeah, science fiction can be that way sometimes, and good world building takes time. But at the same time, Debris did a little too much world building and left the mystery for fans to try and figure out. It took so much time to dump so much information on you that by the time things started to get really interesting in the final 2 episodes, most viewers would have abandoned the show already. With the addition of John Noble, a huge player in the genre, the interest was already gone. Not to mention, the show sometimes got a bit too dramatic. Call it emotional fatigue or whatever, but the huge focus on feelings and setting up the main duo's motivations and backstory so early on in the series proved to be a bit too much for watching the show. Interestingly, La Brea took a completely different approach to this. Throughout the season, we only got to know bits and pieces about each of the lost people, and episodes stay clear of going into too much detail. Honestly, this method builds up the feeling of danger and mystery without dumping too many emotions on the viewer. Next up, Natalie Z is pretty fantastic. One of the major things that La Brea did right was making Natalie Z, who is best known for her role in Justified and The Following, the star of the show. She takes on the part of Eve Harris, a busy working mom with more than just a few problems, pretty perfectly. Throughout the show, Eve comes off as charismatic, earnest, and pretty believable. And while the show could do much better with her makeup and clothing choices, everything else is done really well. The best thing about Eve is definitely how, although she's a neglected wife and a high-key helicopter mom, that's not all she is. She has edges that make her so much more interesting. Also, her relationship with her husband's best friend is a fun and dramatic turn on the classic love triangle. Wait, don't groan. We know love triangles can get pretty cliche and boring sometimes, but this one is more like what happened between Shane and Lori on The Walking Dead when they thought Rick was dead. In La Brea, Eve thinks she'll never get back topside again, where her husband is, and so she ends up having an affair with her husband's best friend, Levi, who is down with her. And at this point, you just know it's going to get messy when the two of them meet. Not to mention that Levi isn't letting on everything he knows, and he's 100% a creepy stalker in a place and time that Eve can't escape. At this point, you know it's a disaster just waiting to happen, and it's going to be really fun to watch when it does. Coming up, La Brea borrows from some of the greats. If there's one thing that La Brea knows, it's that sometimes you go in the footsteps of successful shows before going on your own path. Although it doesn't even come close to being on par with Lost, La Brea definitely does throw in a lot of obvious nods to the show. As you get through the episodes, you can also feel that it has some similarities with CW's The 100 Minus. Of course, there's all that teen angst, and also Terra Nova, which unfortunately got cut after just 3 seasons, but should have had so much more. If there's one thing that's clear, La Brea wants you to think of all those great shows while you're watching it. It doesn't really want to copy it, but it does want to have the same vibes as the show, and it's a great binge when you're done with either show and are looking for something similar. And what is that vibe? A sci-fi show with tons of pretty people and plenty of comedy. On Lost, the comedic relief was Hurley, played by Jorge Garcia, who was as goofy as he was sweet. Similarly, on La Brea, we have Scott, played by Rohan Mirshandani, who is pretty much a marijuana vaping academic who alternates between frightening anxiety and uncontrollable curiosity. The thing that sells him to fans is definitely that he's inappropriate but intensely likable at the same time. Finally, when is season 2 coming out? After that heart-pumping finale that saw, spoiler alert, young Isaiah, also known as Gavin, return back to the future, fans only have one question on their mind. When is season 2? They'll also be happy to know that La Brea will be premiering its next season this fall on Tuesday, September 20th. 27th at 9 p.m. on NBC. Mark your calendars. At the moment, all we know is that next season will definitely be addressing where Riley, Josh, and Lily disappeared off to when they were sucked into the time-traveling crack of light in the finale. Also, Season 2 will be in a completely different time period. Now, moving on to other news. First up, La Brea Season 2 trailer teases greater danger and secrets ahead for the Harris family. NBC has released a new trailer for La Brea Season 2 ahead of the show's formal return next week, which previews the next episodes of the season, as well as, you guessed it, another big hole that emerges in California. However, the mystery gets much deeper in the second season, when surprise additions to the wider mythology are made in addition to the introduction of new characters. La Brea will return with an even greater second season on Tuesday, September 27th. Also, the show's Season 2 will consist of 14 episodes in total, which follows the initial 10-episode run of the series, which would go on to become the top new drama on TV last year. Following a giant sinkhole that pulls people and structures into a mysterious, perilous, prehistoric place, the family must band together to survive, which is the plot of the TV series. The Harris family is still divided in Season 2, as Eve deals with her son Josh accidentally entering a porthole to 1988. She's also unaware that her ex-husband Gavin and their daughter Izzy have arrived in ancient Seattle and are now navigating the weather and wildlife on their way to LA. Next up, why Zyra Gurecki adores that she can play Izzy on La Brea as an actual amputee. The youngest Harris family member, Izzy, played by Zyra Gurecki, lost her leg in a car accident 2 to 3 years before the events of the premiere, which is revealed early in Season 1 of NBC's popular sci-fi series, La Brea. As the show goes on, it becomes clear that Izzy's mother, Eve, feels responsible for her daughter losing her limb since she was with Levi, with whom she was having an affair when her daughter got into the accident. Gurecki is an amputee, just like the character she plays on TV. When she was 14 years old, the actor lost her leg in a logging accident. While visiting program No Limits, a camp designed for kids with limb disabilities, she learned about the role of Izzy. She shared in an interview with Glamour that she wanted to show people that anyone could make it, regardless of how anyone looks. She loved La Brea for wanting an actual amputee for the amputee character on the show, something other shows sometimes decide not to do. Finally, the real meaning behind La Brea's puzzling handprint symbol. Fans first saw the mysterious symbol back in the pilot, when Gavin found a red mark on a rock that revealed his family was trapped in 10,000 BC. Then, in La Brea Season 1, Episode 2, Day 2, Veronica found her father's dead body under a handprint-shaped rock formation. After then, we continued to see the print throughout the season in a variety of different locations. It's obvious that it has some sort of importance because it is printed in red on the back of Silas's cloak and on the gate of the Tongva tribe's village. So what does it mean? In Season 1, Episode 8, titled Origins, we at last receive some clarity on the significance of the print. Para explains to Eve that the design stands for the Tongva's protection, making it a consoling icon for their people. It's La Brea after all, so there might always be more to the tale. But for now, we're okay with this straightforward and reassuring answer. That's a wrap for this video. Will you be watching La Brea's next season? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. And we'll see you in the next one.